Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to your number one favorite podcast ever, I guarantee it, hopefully. I am your co-host, Braxton Taylor, here along with Andrew, the Chronicler Bolin.
The Chronicler?
I don't know, I couldn't think of anything. Well, basically, Andrew and I text each other a lot, and I was trying to find a video that I apparently sent him, like, over a year and a half ago, and you think, oh wow, you know, that clearly wouldn't have text going back that far. And let's put it this way, it was very close, and I know that there's been many times that I've had to delete our text thread because the thread itself gets up to gigabytes. That's how much.
Yeah, and here's the gift and curse of a friendship this long.
Yeah.
At this point, we can literally. Like, if someone that didn't know us were to go and look at our text thread,
yeah,
it would make no sense to them.
It wouldn't make any sense, yeah.
But we can just send the most random things, and it makes perfect sense to us.
Like, we can send, like, just a random picture, and, like, we already know what the other person is thinking in that picture.
Right.
it's a beautiful thing, you know?
It is. It's really beautiful.
Well, anyway, so I just thought that was funny. So with that being said, though, thank you everybody so much for coming back and listening to us once again. I can't remember. I didn't look up what podcast episode this is. And second of all, do I sound weird to you? I feel like I'm kind of echoey or something. Maybe that's just me.
I think try putting the microphone a little more towards, like, directly towards your mouth.
Hello?
Oh, that's
maybe.
better.
Yeah. Well, usually I don't have to do that, so I don't know what's going on.
Well,
anyway.
I mean, we can turn you up. I could also turn you up a little bit.
It's fine. So anyway, but thank you guys for coming back, and we're excited to have just another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the Let's Play episode that we had last week. We had some fun with it, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you think about it. But we're having our podcast episode this week. Before we get started, like usual, we do want to kind of mention our Patreon that's going on, and we have active at this time. So we have one pledged here, and that is $5 a month, a measly $5. And that $5 gets you a lot of things, and obviously we're always looking to expand, but right now our $5 pledge will first and foremost will get you a pretty cool position, so to speak, and that is if you become one of our patrons, you become a producer of Jedi Eternal, and you kind of help lead us, and we get to ask you guys questions about things that's going to happen in the future and for the Patreon itself. So if that interests you, that's one big reason. Second thing, we actually have a Patreon exclusive podcast on there, and that's called And Other Stuff, and that's where we just have a conversation. We're just having fun, we're just talking, and we do typically have kind of a main topic, but it's usually something other than Star Wars. So we talked about Marvel, we've talked about Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth. Upcoming, we're talking about Skyrim and Elder Scrolls, and once that gets done, we're going to ask all of our producers what they want to hear after that, you know. So, and then also, last but not least, anytime we release something, whether it be a podcast or a Let's Play episode, that gets uploaded to Patreon first, and before the 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. So, all of that to be said, we would very much appreciate it and love if you would come and be one of our producers and get all that extra fun, exclusive content. But with that being said, as always, we do like to shout out our producers that are currently subscribed, and Andrew, let us know who they are.
Yes, our current producers are Josh and Birkinshaw, Tara Bolin, Grace and David Gill, Alex Mason, Jay Camdar, Jenna, and Brittany Baker.
Nice. Hey, so again, huge shout out to those guys and gals. We're super thankful for all of our producers and super thankful for those who choose to support us. Pardon me, choose to support us every month. And again, hopefully you all enjoy that exclusive content. And again, of course, we're looking to expand. If you all have any ideas, let us know. But without further ado, instead of shamelessly plugging our stuff as we do every episode, we're going to get into the main good stuff that you come here for. And number one, we're going to our first news piece of the week is that there is a new cover art and an excerpt revealed for the new upcoming book, Star Wars Shadow of the Sith. So this is kind of an interesting book, and Drew was telling me about this a little bit before the podcast started, but it's a book about Luke Skywalker and Lando Calrissian, and they're going to Exegol to hunt down Sith. So Drew, tell us a little bit more about this cover art and the excerpt.
Yeah, so what we have heard here first is that it is tracing Luke and Lando's quest to find Exegol and a story set between the events of Star Wars Return of the Jedi and Star Wars The Force Awakens, and featuring Ochia Bestoon, the Sith assassin first introduced in The Rise of Skywalker. We know that they announced this a while back. The cover art looks really cool here. Hopefully we can get that posted on our social media. Hopefully it's up there by the time you guys are listening to this. But it looks really cool. But also the story itself is very interesting to me. Mainly because we are going to be kind of getting more of Luke in a period that we have not gotten much of Luke. Also, we're going to see Exegol probably for the first time. This is probably when they're really going to be hearing about Exegol for the first time. And what's interesting is in this excerpt, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can definitely go and see that at StarWars.com. But a light spoiler here for you guys is that he's on Tython, and he all of a sudden kind of has like this vision or something, and he's on Exegol and he doesn't know how, referring to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, Lando, what? Holy moly.
And all of a sudden there's like this other blade that's there, like a lightsaber, and it's like fighting, and he's not sure what's going on, but anyways, at the very end, it reveals itself to be Anakin Skywalker as like a Force ghost in front of him. And so that's another very intriguing thing. And this is by Adam Christopher, and I just think it's going to be very intriguing. Comes out June 28th. I, of course, have already pre-ordered this. I'm extremely excited about what it's going to be.
Yeah, so it certainly sounds pretty interesting to me. Like I said, I've been, as many of you know, I've been trying my best to to read the High Republic kind of main trilogy of the adult book stuff, and I'm almost done with Fallen Star. Yeah, it's been really fun. But the point is that I'm excited to kind of venture out into some different Star Wars books now, and this one sounds like a really good foyer, however the word is, into some different Star Wars content and stuff. So
yeah, I think this is going to be a good one to pick up for a lot of fans of, well, maybe kind of fans of original trilogy, but also fans of the sequel trilogy, because it's going to be kind of a combination of both.
Kind of bridges the gap a little bit.
Kind of bridges the gap there. You're going to see Luke, and also what I think could be interesting about this, I'm not exactly sure on the timeline, like exactly when this is placed in the timeline.
Yeah.
But I know that what we might start to get an idea of where Luke's headspace is and like his thoughts, and maybe part of what happens here is another reason why he kind of heads down the path that he does.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because again, this should be a time where he's like in his prime a little bit here. You know what I'm saying? To some degree.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see where that goes. But you're right. That's kind of an interesting thought process. Is that it could be that some of the things he sees, these visions and Exegol and all this stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it could lead him down to maybe a slightly darker path. You know.
Well, and you also have to think this could have something to do with Rey's parents, as we know. Yeah. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Ochia Bestoon.
I think so. I think it's right. Yeah.
We know he's directly involved in the killing of Rey's parents, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then from there, we know he dies on that one planet that Lando's on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
there's some interesting ties there.
And there is conversation about between. Orlando mentions him and Luke going on some kind of adventure at one point, right?
Yeah,
I need to go back and see exactly what he says there, because I can't remember.
It's been a while since I watched it.
But anyways, so there's some history there. I think we're going to fill in some gaps here. It could be very intriguing to see how that plays out. So.
Yeah, for sure. you want to go ahead and take us on to our next one?
Yeah, sorry. We're having some, like, weird recording stuff going on.
Andrew might be incredibly loud right now, but we'll see.
Testing.
If he's destroying your eardrums, you know.
Well, so it shows our volumes are hitting around the same, but I don't know.
I don't know. Mine looks a lot lower than yours.
I'm talking about on our over here on the left.
Overall.
I actually just turned you up when I went over there. I turned up your
Interesting.
volume.
Well, anyway, we'll figure it out.
Okay, so second news story is Star Wars Celebration Anaheim has announced the first celebrity guests. And honestly, they're not that surprising, really.
Yeah.
They're about what you would expect. It's the first guests are Anthony Daniels, Ian McDermott, and Ahsoka Tano, which are three that have been kind of
every one of them.
Yeah, they're like everything, right? Star Wars, like they're
yeah.
huge, like, supporters of the fans.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they're like, if there's fan stuff going on, you can almost guarantee like those three will be a part of it, which is awesome. It's great, but it's also like not a surprise at all. So,
no.
I'm hoping that we'll continue to get some more, and of course, like usual fashion, they're probably going to keep some of them a surprise.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's almost guaranteed Ewan McGregor is going to be at this celebration. He was not at the last one.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think there's a good chance he will be there. If nothing else, to talk about Kenobi, I think that would... And we're going to be one episode into Kenobi when Celebration starts. So.
Yeah, that's a perfect time for him to be there. And secondarily, one of the reasons he may not have been... at the last one is because they had not yet announced the Kenobi series, and I think that like him being there might have been too much of a coincidence, or further, maybe people were like, they're afraid that people would ask too many questions, and they're like, you know what, Ewan, just don't come this year, we don't want to even run the risk, and so that could potentially be it. But anyway, so it's gonna be pretty awesome. Again, I wish I could go, but it doesn't appear that I will be able to, but I hope everybody that goes has a good time. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to finally get together again with the fans and also learn about some new things. I think there's going to be some exciting new things they're going to tell us about, and we're going to talk about one of those things here in just a little bit. But.
Yeah. So our third news piece for this week is that Mandalorian Season 3 adds the great doctor himself, Christopher Lloyd, as a guest character. Christopher Lloyd, as you may remember him, is the mad scientist of Back to the Future that transforms his DeLorean into a time machine. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure he has plenty of other things that he's been into, but I don't really care. But it's very interesting. So, Drew, did they have any more info on that, or like what his character might be?
There's not any info on who his character will be, but we do know that they are saying this is a guest star role. This is coming straight from the Hollywood Reporter. Again, as we have said before, this is one of those that while Lucasfilm has not came out and said it, it's all but confirmed at this point, so we feel confident in telling you guys this as news. They're just saying he's a guest star, which means there's a good chance he just has a very small role. But I think it would be cool to have him in the Star Wars universe. And
we already got Danny Trejo, so you might as well get the Lloyd Master in there,
Yeah, for sure. And the Mandalorian has been already shooting for 6 months already, and should be wrapping up soon. Ahsoka is next to film. So yeah, we're expecting Katie Sackhoff to be back. Carl Weathers, Giancarlo Esposito, all these people. So I think it's going to be another good season when we finally start to get a little more detail. Potentially, maybe we get a little bit of detail at Celebration on that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, when we went in 2019, we had entire scenes that we saw before it was even announced. So it was, it's definitely a possibility. So
for sure. Going on to our fourth and final news story for this episode, and that is that all the playable characters have been announced for Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. We're not going to go and read all of these to you because that would take
Just
a
most.
very long time. It's 300 plus playable characters.
Ooh.
But we kind of get an idea how things are going to be here. And I will read you guys this. The characters are split up into 10 categories. So there are Jedis, which there are 45 Jedis. There is heroes. There's 86 heroes. Scavengers, 11 of those. Scoundrels, 23 of those. Bounty hunters, 16 of those. Villains, 65 of those. Dark side, 20 of those. Astromech droids, 19 of those. Protocol droids, 13. And extras, which has 78. So
there's 78 characters that don't fall into any of those
categories.
Okay.
So take from that what you will.
Interesting. And here's the thing, too, there's so much to this game. It's not even just the characters. I mean, 300 plus characters is crazy. I mean, 78 of them that are extra. They're not even listed in any category. Is crazy. But further, there's also like classes you can do too, and upgradable perks and skills, which is again something that we've never seen before in any Lego game. Not even just Star Wars, but Lego at all. I mean, they've thoroughly bumped up the game on this one.
Yeah, so I know you can essentially like level up your character, right? As you go, you can get these special bricks that will allow you to like level up your character, gain more skills from that.
I was gonna say, for instance, like one of them being a perk called Fear of the Sith, and basically like if you have that one leveled up, it'll like all your foes and civilians or whatever run away from you. So anyway, it's just kind of a cool little thing there.
Yeah, and it gives you a reason to go back and play more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's one of the reasons they're probably doing it. But to go down the list here, we can look through Jedi. Of course, we have, like Anakin Skywalker, multiple different versions of like Anakin, and Luke Skywalker has like a ton. Obi-Wan Kenobi has quite a few. Rey. One that might be a little surprising is Yaddle. We do get a Yaddle playable character.
That's cool.
Yarel Poof gets a playable character there. So there's a couple of ones that may be a little less expected.
Yeah.
And Ben Solo, Jocasta Nu. And heroes, you got Boss Nass.
Yes,
so there you
go.
Of course, you get like a bunch of the different clone troopers there, like Commander Cody. I'm curious, probably not Rex, which you might think what, but Rex was technically not shown in the movies. So
yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah.
When you start to think about it there, and this is very much based off of the movies, and nothing else, which is also why you'll notice I did not mention Ahsoka in that list of Jedi, because Ahsoka is not one of the Jedi, and which feels so wrong, but also she's not in the movies.
With that said, though, we do know that we're getting on day one DLC expansions with new characters. One, there's many Mandalorian, like characters from the Mandalorian, characters from
Correct.
I think different heroes or whatever. I think Rex was one of them. I could be wrong on that.
Well, I can tell you in just one moment.
Whoa!
I'll go down there and look, because I have those listed as well.
The magic of technology.
I do know Ahsoka is one of those based off of her appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2. I'm a little surprised we didn't just get a Clone Wars DLC.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we didn't just get that, because you could have some characters because of that. But anyway, so let me go down to that. I will say on Dark Side, you have, of course, Dark Side Anakin. You have Count Dooku, Darth Maul, Darth Vader, Kylo Ren. You get topless Kylo Ren. You also get the Dark Side version of Rey.
Let's go.
A bunch of different Sheev, Palpatines, and one Snoke. Just one, which is kind of interesting, because technically I would think there would be two variations of Snoke.
Yeah,
but anyway,
you would think so.
Let's see here. If we go down, okay, here we go. So there's the classic character pack is one of the DLCs, which has very traditional, classic styled Lego of the like original trilogy characters.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi being one of those if you do a digital pre-order.
Yeah.
Then there's the Trooper pack, which has Death Trooper, Incineration Trooper, Range Trooper, Imperial Shore Trooper, Mimban, Stormtrooper. The Mandalorian Season 1, which is, of course, is going to get you Mando and Grogu, Greef Karga, Cara Dune. I'm kind of surprised they're even going to include her.
Yeah.
IG-11 and Kuiil. And then the Mandalorian Season 2, which will have Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Moff Gideon. Yeah. Rogue One. So we're getting Jyn Erso, Cassian, K2SO, all of them. Solo. We're getting young Han, young Chewbacca, young Lando, Kira, and then the Bad Batch. So then we're getting, Hunter, Echo, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair. So no Captain Rex.
That is bizarre. And here's what I'm thinking is that perhaps they are going to have a Clone Wars. I mean, because here's the thing. This is the Skywalker saga. This is supposed to encompass everything. So, as we can see, it's not even just sticking to the main saga movies as they go into Mandalorian and Bad Batch and all that stuff like that, right? So, it's very possible that they're still going to have more characters to come. Obviously, we have all the Clone Wars stuff. And B, we also have stuff like Fallen Order with Cal Kestis, and we have like different things we could have.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I think it's going to be up to how they handle this video game. If we base it off of the past Lego games, it's kind of like one and done, right?
Yeah.
They it's like, here's the game, and like maybe add some extra characters, but like you pretty much see what you get like right off the bat. But the game industry is changing, and Lego is going to need to try to keep up with that. And the big thing right now is, and we're seeing it more and more, is to release a game as a platform to continue over time to add more additional stuff to that game. So they're like, here, buy the game, play through it, and then hopefully by the time you are almost completely done with it, we're going to give you an add-on for an extra $20 that's going to give you more to do and more to play. And it becomes a live or games as a service type thought there, right? And we know like Assassin's Creed kind of already does it, but they're taking it to the next level in their next video game that we already know is going to be, they're using it as a platform. The next one's going to be like updated for years to come. It's going to be all on this one platform. We know that like games like Destiny are doing that all the time. That's what they do. It's been Destiny 2, the video game, for many, many years, but it's far different than what it used to be. And so do I think Lego is going to take it that far? No. But is there an opportunity here, though, to start with what we have here, which is already a gigantic video game and lots of content, but they can continue to add seasons to this, with characters that come out of new seasons of Mandalorian and with new movies. I mean, even the High Republic, right? But is there also an opportunity to release new, let's call them chapters to this?
Yeah.
Where we could start to play through the DLCs of, or we could start to play through like the Disney Plus series, right?
Right.
Which we're already getting the characters. So that makes you think maybe they're not planning to do that. But I personally think it's a missed opportunity. Let's keep this game going for a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's add the Clone Wars. So let's play through some of the Clone Wars, maybe the highlights of the Clone Wars series. Let's play through the Mando season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
Throw in the Book of Boba Fett in there. Why not? Don't do the Bad Batch. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we don't care.
But Solo, Rogue One, we can play through some of that stuff.
Right.
And then throw in some of the High Republic. Make a Lego version of some of the events of the novel. Why not? Why not do it? It'd be cool.
Well, here's the thing, and that's what I've been, basically this inception of what you said, it sparked something in my head. You're like, well, here's the thing. They're going to have to stay up to par with the changes of the video game industry as it is right now. And here's the thing. We already know that they are to some degree. The fact of the matter is that they are creating a bigger, better, more comprehensive Lego game than we've ever seen. And they've revamped the gameplay. They revamped the fighting mechanics. They've revamped everything. They've added characters.
Well, even the engine itself, right? Is never been used before.
So my point is they already are changing to suit the industry to that degree. And here's another thing that I will supplement is that these day one drops of the DLCs were not supposed to be day one drops. If you remember back, I think we talked about it before, is that essentially this game has been delayed like 3 times. And it was supposed to come out like 2020 or 2021. I think it was 2020. And anyway, long story short, this was delayed like 2 or 3 different times. And the point is that like they wanted to, because it's been delayed so many times, they said that they wanted to basically just drop all the DLCs at once because they'd already worked on the DLCs. It was already pretty much done. And as kind of a gift for people for waiting, they're just going to drop it all. So from my understanding, and I could be wrong, but from my understanding, the intention was that these would have came later on. But because the game took so long to get out, they basically had already finished them and they're going to drop them.
That you're absolutely right. I remember that as well.
Yeah.
That was the case. Thank you for reminding me of that because
You're welcome.
yeah, that is exactly what had happened. It was supposed to come out. Those were going to release over time, but now it's changed. However, that still makes you wonder, well, what's next?
Right.
Are they going to continue to do DLC or are they like, you know what? All of our DLC now is going to come out right at the beginning and we're not going to do any more.
Right.
And I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think character packs are very possible, Clone Wars versions of characters, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big question, and we know they're willing to do that because we're getting the Bad Batch.
Right.
So it's not like animated is out of the question,
Sure.
because the Bad Batch is included.
Well, and here's the thing. It's not Telltale. Who's the developer for this? I can't remember off the top of my head. Traveler's Tales?
Traveler's Tales,
Something like that.
something like that. I think.
Basically, what I'm getting at is that they are making this their last hurrah. I mean, because if I'm not mistaken, their contract with Lego and Star Wars is ending. I think we talked about this 1 or 2 podcasts ago, and basically saying that like now because there's another Lego game that's coming out or something along those. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure you're the one that brought it up last time. But anyway, and I could be completely off on this, but I want to say that their contract, and look it up so I'm not lying. Or if I am, that you can correct me. But if I'm not mistaken, they are losing their contract, so it makes sense that they're trying to make this their last hurrah. You know, they're trying to make it to where this is the best, most amazing Lego Star Wars games that's ever came out. So again, it would behoove them to release stuff, right? It would behoove them to release more things later on, so it's not just this base game, you know.
So I don't see anything about that.
I swore.
I will say, I mean, we know that the deal with EA is closing, right, which is going to allow them, Star Wars, to work with more companies,
right?
And I personally think that this will not be anywhere close to the last Star Wars game we get from them. I think there will be more. I know that the game had led to extensive crunch. I think we talked about that at one point. Mm-hmm. And that there was some controversy going on over that, about the workload was getting stressful and different things there. A lot of it having to do with a new engine being developed internally. But I think that this, I don't think this will be the end of it. And I am just hoping, again, to reiterate, I'm hoping that what we get from this is a platform to continue Star Wars stories. Instead of, we've released this, now we're going to release another game that's The Mandalorian.
Right.
And now we're going to release another game that's The Clone Wars.
Right.
And they're going to use the same engine and everything, but they're going to sell it as different games. I'm hoping we get away from that thought process that Lego has done, and instead we condense it all into this one game that right now is called the Skywalker Saga. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean you can't change that over time, add to it. even change the title, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
Add DLCs onto it and make this a bigger game that just continues to grow out for at least the next like 5 years.
Yeah.
And then from there, maybe we can do something different. But that's just my thoughts. But anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, we talked about that for a very long time.
You can tell we're very passionate about playing Lego Star Wars.
We love Lego Star Wars. So, but anyway, if you guys are excited for that, that is coming out April 5th. So it is right around the daggone corner. So I'm just beyond excited. But anyway, we're going to move on. So that ends our news for this week. We're going to go ahead and into our rumors. And we have 3 of those good old boys. And so our first rumor for this week is that Jedi Fallen Order 2... the trailer is expected to come out at Celebration. So we have been hearing a lot of murmurs about Jedi Fallen Order 2, or whatever that iteration will end up being, but the sequel to that game, right? We've heard a lot of murmurs about that recently, and it's not any significant rumors that we could really talk about, but just a lot of people have been talking about it. They've been insinuating things. So if it is at all coming out, it will be at Celebration. Because here's the thing. Things that happen at Celebration come out like a year later or 2 or 3 years later. But that's like the inception point of when stuff actually gets announced and starts happening as a Celebration. So if there is going to happen, it is going to be there.
And you have to remember, we actually saw the first trailer for Jedi Fallen Order was at Celebration. The first premiere trailer that they showed was at the last Celebration. So it makes sense that we get a trailer for the next one at this Celebration.
Exactly.
Now, I don't know. The big speculation here is not about. I think this is a given. I think we're totally getting it at Celebration.
Right.
Now, will it be like a full-on like gameplay trailer? I don't know.
Probably not.
But will it be some kind of at least CGI styled trailer that will show us where the story's headed? Yeah, I think we'll at least get that. I think the big question, and that a lot of fans are arguing back and forth on right now, is will this be released this year or is it going to be next year? I personally think that since we have not even seen the game yet, I find it very hard to believe that we will get this game released this fall or winter. I know a lot of people are still hoping for that, and sure, that would be great, but I do find it hard to believe. I think it's much more realistic, and what this news report also is saying is they're expecting this to be probably spring next year.
Yeah, which then again, we did say that we saw the initial trailer at Celebrations in 2019, and it did come out in 2019. Granted, I think it was a little bit more furbished at that point.
Well, the difference there is they announced the game a long time before
you're right,
Celebration. Where this time we technically have not gotten official announcement for this game.
True. Well, and then it's kind of, I'm not going off topic, but I'm supplementing our topic, because that's another thing right there, is that because we have not gotten an official release or statement, you know what I'm saying, or announcement, again, kind of hearkening back to our previous podcast episodes where we talked about what am I trying to say? I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, what are we doing here? You know, because we talk about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So is the sequel going to be following directly after that sequence of events in the first game, and we're following Cal Kestis? Or is it going to be some other era, some other thing where it's Star Wars Jedi High Republic? Or what? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. That is the big question. Is this a direct sequel to Fallen Order, or is this going to be a completely new story? I can get behind both.
Same here.
Honestly, if I could choose continuation of Cal Kestis or High Republic, I would choose High Republic.
Oh yeah.
I think it's very likely we're getting a continuation of Cal Kestis.
Yeah.
One of the reasons being that he is a beloved character at this point. There's a lot of people that like Cal Kestis.
Also, ironically, and I'm sure you probably have seen this.
I know what you're about to say.
So Never mind.
Apparently, you know,
Apparently, that's the first time I've ever been on live television before. So stop throwing me off. Anyway, basically, what I'm trying to get at is that they just announced that Cal Kestis's lightsaber from Fallen Order will be the next installment at Galaxy's Edge. You know, all of their exclusive Disney sabers. So that's really cool. A and B, is it ironic or not ironic? But is it a coincidence that came up around this time and we're talking about this? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. So we'll see. So
yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be super excited about the continuation of Cal Kestis, but one thing I do have to point out, one of the big parts of the gameplay and how they kind of leveled up your character was the fact that he didn't remember
he didn't
how to
remember
use
stuff,
like he had to go through all this stuff to gain his force powers back.
The previous training he forgot and stuff.
So in this next one, I mean, they can't do that again.
Right.
So they're going to either start your character out and he already has, the force, all those force abilities, and they have to kind of go a different route with the way that your character like levels up throughout the game. Or they choose like a new story so that you can kind of go through that process again. I don't know what they're going to choose.
Yeah.
What
I was going to say, what would be kind of interesting, I don't know, this may be too far out there, but what would be kind of interesting is if he like finds old remnants of like, or copies of like Jedi texts, and like as you discover those throughout the levels, like you add new powers or abilities because he studies them and learns them as he goes. That could be interesting thing.
Yeah. And that's that. I think that is kind of the way you'd have to go if you're going to continue Cal Kestis. Is he already has his abilities you learned throughout the game, but now they have to incorporate new abilities into mechanics of the gameplay, right?
Yeah. So actually, I'm thinking about this too. Okay, so the Jedi text, there's probably not copies, and we know that blah blah blah. A lot of people have it. Blah blah. All right. What is interesting though is that at the very end of Jedi Fallen Order, he finds a holocron. And that was one of the biggest things. He had to unlock this holocron. And so that would be interesting because he has to go find other holocrons.
Yeah, if he started kind of like going through old Jedi temples and stuff. And you could even get some like High Republic type teasers or Easter eggs.
That would be sweet. Yeah.
That could be
neat.
That
could work.
That was kind of, he was trying to kind of rebuild the order.
Exactly.
And so he's going around. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. We know like most likely Cal Kestis has a bad ending, right?
Yeah,
most likely. Unless they're gonna play it off like all these other characters, and for some reason he just wasn't around during all of
he becomes Darth Vader.
I always wondered who was behind that mask.
Who is it? Because listen, when he dies in Return of the Jedi, it does not look like Anakin. It's Cal Kestis. Daggone it. I broke it. I already broke the system. I know what it is. Plot twist. He actually does kill Vader at the end of Fallen Order and becomes Vader in the second game. That's what it is.
Spoilers.
So spoiler alert.
Let's move on. Our next story here in our rumors is that Star Wars Eclipse delay rumors have been refuted by developer Quantic Dream. So if you remember from our last episode, we talked about a rumor that basically Quantic Dream was having trouble gaining staff, and that their game was delayed to like 2027 or 2028 due to the fact that they could not get enough staff to create the game.
Yeah.
Now, the developer has came out and said this: Star Wars Eclipse has not been delayed because Quantic Dream never announced or promised a launch window for the title.
Okay.
Recruiting remains active as it works on Star Wars Eclipse, third-party publishing, and unannounced projects.
So basically, you guys are exactly right, but we're not at fault because we never told you when we was going to release it.
Yeah, so the original report was saying, it's been pushed back to 3 or 4 years away. They're saying, well, that's not true because we never even told you guys a release date. I see both sides of it. I would say likely this development has been pushed.
Yeah.
Farther than they originally anticipated, even though they didn't tell us a date.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is there has been a lot of controversy with the title, which is because of David, I think his name is David Cage, and some of the things that he has done. They are, and they're pushing all of that onto him, and I think it's. I always go back to in times like this, I kind of feel bad for the developers because they're just like trying to do their job, and they're probably super excited to be working on this title, but people are like throwing the developer under the bus because of one dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I understand, like, you know, if there are issues that need to be dealt with, then they need to be dealt with, but like, don't make the entire team suffer because of it. You know, like they're super excited for this, and I hate that they're kind of all going through this. But hopefully it can get worked out, and we'll see this High Republic game eventually, because I would love to see this game. The
premise is amazing.
The premise is amazing. The first trailer that they showed is definitely something I am absolutely interested in seeing. So, and I am a fan of the Quantic Dream games. I've played all of them and enjoyed all of them. So I really want to see this come to life. So we'll continue to update you guys as we hear more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I could talk about that more, but I'm not going to, because we're going along already. So anyway, our last rumor for this week is that Damon Lindelof is reportedly developing a Star Wars movie. So who is Damon Lindelof? And he has a lot of accreditations to his name. So first and foremost, I didn't realize this dude did Lost.
Yes.
He did Lost.
Damon Lindelof did Lost.
He did
He was co-creator of Lost.
Yeah, co-creator, excuse me. Star Trek in 2009, he was the producer of that. Star Trek Into Darkness, he was the producer in 2013. Tomorrowland in 2015. And he actually did the Watchmen miniseries. He was the executive producer for those 9 episodes in 2019.
Yeah, the Watchmen, not the movie, but the series was incredibly popular, highly praised. Yeah. And who's behind that? Of course, Lost. Extremely popular. Lost, highly praised. It had a lot of controversy over the ending, but But anyways,
it all ended in church.
What about the polar bears? So, and then he also did The Leftovers, which is also a very well-known and loved series. So anyways, this guy's got a lot of good stuff behind his name. He is clearly a very high talent, knows what he's doing. Yeah. And if this ends up being true, the rumor is that he will be writing the project. Yeah. Though they don't know if a co-writer or director's attached, but he would be writing it, which is very intriguing to me. Yeah. Again, I think him writing it could really work out to something cool. And that the one thing about this is that it is a movie. Yeah. Whatever this is, this project, it would be a Star Wars movie. So
here's something interesting I just saw with my little eyeballs here. So interesting.
Your wee little eyeballs.
I won't go that far. Anyway, shut up. Anyway, we talked about him being a writer and that no director was attached. But what's interesting, if you go to his IMDb page, it's interesting for him is that his trademark is that he often works with J.J. Abrams. Interesting little connection there. As we well know, J.J. Abrams directed Episode 7, Force Awakens, and Episode 9, whatever it's called. I can't even remember. Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, we know he, of course, usually works with J.J. Abrams because, that was the other creator of Lost. Right. So, yeah. Could J.J. Abrams come back for another Star Wars?
Potentially. I don't know. I know that he had his reservations. I don't think he even wanted to come back for Episode 9.
Yeah, I think he kind of got roped into that.
Yeah. But again, we don't have to go too far into this. I just thought that was kind of a unique tie-in that we already know that JJ had directed 2 of the 3 sequel trilogy movies, and we're talking about this guy writing it, and we don't know who the director is, and he's often works with J.J. Abrams. So it's kind of just an interesting little tidbit there. Does it actually have any substance? Probably not, but kind of neat.
Yeah, but no, that is interesting. And I mean, we'll just have to see, but there could be some cool. I think there could be some really cool stuff with him doing it. So I hope we see this come to life, whatever it may be.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that was our last rumor. So we're going to jump into our upcoming releases. No releases in the next week,
Ooh.
which is kind of a weird. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But we're kind of in a calm before the storm right now, and in Star Wars, we're kind of in this period of nothingness before the rest of the year gets real crazy.
Oh yeah.
We know we're getting multiple series of Star Wars in this second half of the year. A lot of books are headed in this second half of the year, including the next phase of the High Republic eventually.
Yeah.
And also we're getting I think there's rumored to be, or well, we're getting a game, maybe a couple of games this year. There's a lot of stuff on the way.
Yeah.
But right now, it's a little calm. There's some comics that have been coming out, good comics, mind you.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And so with that, here the next thing that we get is on April 5th, and that is the Darth Bane Dynasty of Evil, which is part of the Essential Legends collection. And also within that, we're getting Darth Plagueis and Kenobi, which all three are fantastic novels. I cannot recommend these novels more.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a Star Wars fan and you like to read, you should absolutely read the Darth Bane trilogy, Plagueis, and Kenobi. All just fantastic.
Yeah.
So really excited. Oh, sorry. There's one more. Wedge's Gamble, which I believe is the second, book 2 of the Rogue Squadron series. So that one will also be coming out that day. And that's not it. We're also getting Queen's Hope released on April 5th as well. I will say I did read Queen's Hope. Thank you to Disney Publishing for giving an advanced review copy of that to us. I read through it. I do have impressions. I've actually already written a review. And I assume we'll probably talk about that on our next podcast episode.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about that. This week we are not doing a main topic just because we are going cray-cray on time here. But yes, I said cray-cray.
Wow, you went with it, huh?
I went with it. I just also, me and Braxton really want to go watch Halo, the first episode of Halo.
Yeah.
Out
Hardcore
now
Haloers.
on Paramount Plus. So
Sponsor us.
So anyways, I'm rambling over here. So past that, April 5th is also the day we get the next Lego game, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Also on April 5th. So lots of stuff.
I don't know.
And then April 6th, we're getting Star Wars issue number 22 and Bounty Hunters issue number 22.
Nice.
And that is it.
Man, wear me out.
Again, right now we're in the calm before the storm.
Exactly.
Lots of stuff coming.
And we're still 50-some minutes.
And actually, I also want to say is you have almost finished The Fallen Star.
Oh my gosh.
That's right, folks.
I did.
The podcast did not just quit. It did not.
We just randomly paused for about.
They call that a pregnant pause.
It's a dramatic. Oh, okay. I was gonna say dramatic effect, but yeah, pregnant pause. Okay. I just be quiet. We're moving on.
So no, see, that's what you do is you stop. And it's like pulling a prank on the listeners because then they like check their phones. They're like trying to see what happened, and it was nothing at all.
Yeah, that was unscripted, but hey, we're just pranksters, you know. But yeah, I mean, before we move on, I am very, very close, like 45 pages away from finishing Fallen Star. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's not a rising star; it's a falling star.
Yeah. No. I'm not even gonna say why I said no. We're not talking about that.
But anyways, when Braxton does finish this novel,
Yes.
not long after. Probably will not be our next episode, but possibly the episode after that.
Yeah.
We're going to have a full discussion on the High Republic.
Yes.
As a whole, all of the books, everything. We're going to try to get a couple friends on that have also discussed, or I've also read a portion of the High Republic, and we're going to sit down and we're going to discuss what we thought about the first phase, the story, where we think it's going next, all the goodies, everything, all the deets.
Yeah, so it's gonna be exciting. I'm kind of rambling at this point now, but I've had a good time reading this. I'm excited to finish this up and see where this is going. But anyway, I'm gonna stop because I have more to say, but I'll just leave it. So I don't know what's wrong with us today. I don't know why we just keep talking. Anyway, so we are gonna move into the last segment of our podcast. I'm sure you're so thankful, and that is our community discussion. So, pardon me. I had a very fun question this time, very kind of interesting one that I was like, man, I just don't know what to ask this week. I don't know. I've already asked you guys about your favorite droids and what ship you would fly. I asked everything I can think of, and I'm like, oh, wait a second. Let's do a little thinking game here. So the community discussion questions for this week is: you walk into a dark, open courtyard. You start to hear some noise behind you. As you turn around, you see Darth Vader, Cad Bane, and Kylo Ren preparing for attack. What 3 characters would you choose to fight them? The rules are, they can be any 3 characters you want, whether good or evil, but they must be from current canon only. All right, so number 1 answer for this week is Corey Allen Wise, who says Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, and Yoda. Not Baby Yoda. Just Daddy Yoder.
Daddy Yoder.
So I mean, that's a pretty good solid lineup. I mean, you can't complain about that. That's pretty good lineup. Mason Hatfield says Mace Windu, Luke Skywalker, and Rey.
So let me ask you this. Is this are they like, for example, on his, is Mace Windu fighting Darth Vader? And then,
I don't think there's any explicit. I never said that, right? Like, I don't know that there's any explicit order to who fights who. Granted, people might have taken that way.
I think it makes it more interesting if there
who fights who type thing. Yeah. I mean, I didn't put that in there, so I kind of unfair to the commenters. But yeah, we'll do that, and yeah.
Now we can hardcore judge their choices. So tell me Alex's again, real quick. What was Alex?
I haven't said Alex's yet. I said Mason Hatfield and Corey Allen Wise.
Oh. Who's the first one that you read?
Corey said Obi-Wan, okay. Boba Fett, and Yoda.
So Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader makes sense. What was the second? So Cad Bane and
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Okay, makes sense.
And
so I think he was doing it that way for
maybe,
sure.
But then again, Kylo and Yoda. So
I mean, Yoda would kick Kylo's butt
naturally,
so.
But that's like OP. That's too much. That's just too much.
Come on, Corey, calm down, man. Jeez.
But I think people are taking his way because Mason says Mace Windu, Luke Skywalker, and then Rey. Which Luke Skywalker again is kind of OP, but the good matchups there. So yeah, next one is JB, who says Rey, Jar Jar, and Watto. said nobody ever. Okay, real answers. Ahsoka, Black Chrysanthemum, and Chewbacca. He says,
he's got 2 Wookiees on his team there. Yeah.
So he says, I reckon Black Chrysanthemum could deal with Kylo, not finish him, but hold him off while Ahsoka deals with Vader. Then Ahsoka helps, and Cad is amazing, but I reckon Chewie's bowcaster would do some serious damage.
So I like that JB didn't just go for 3 OP characters, but he
strategized.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
That's a pretty good answer. Ethan Stewart says Obi-Wan, Jango Fett, and Luke Skywalker. So, okay. I feel pretty confident about that. Now, I'll wait. And then, so last but not, before I do that, David Gill says, me and these hands are all I need. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, just kidding. Well, I'm not. But
that response does not surprise me.
No, it sounds from exactly what David was saying. So,
Sir David Gilly.
Lord Gilbuns.
Lord Gilbuns.
I don't know. Sometimes things just come to my mind. I say it and I'm like, I don't know what that even means. But anyway, last but not least, Brandon Dukes says, bruh, Qui-Gon, Revan, and thanks to our favorite World Between Worlds, Clone Wars Anakin. You know what, Brandon? Your answer gets revoked because you mentioned World Between Worlds.
You know you can't do that.
You can't talk about that here, all right?
We've talked about this. If you bring World Between Worlds into these conversations, then it's never ending.
There's no relevancy to it anymore because it's like, what do you even say at this point? Yeah. No, I mean, it's an interesting. So I don't know who's fighting who, but Qui-Gon, Revan, and Clone Wars Anakin. I mean, those are pretty OP characters overall. Qui-Gon, as much as I love him, I don't know. I mean, fighting Kylo, I think he would win with Kylo. And obviously with Cad Bane, I'd say probably Cad Bane. But Vader, I don't know. I don't think he would win. But anyway, again, obviously he has Revan, so I'm assuming Revan would be fighting.
Listen,
all of them.
I like the character of Qui-Gon, okay, but he got wrecked by Darth Maul. So
that's a good point. That is a very good point. A younger Darth Maul too. It's not even a more super experienced one that we see in Clone Wars. And again with Revan though, I mean, here's the thing. Yes, while he was technically canonized in Rise of Skywalker, we don't know what version of Revan. So
we don't. Yeah, I mean, technically, we don't know anything about Revan other than that he was a Sith Lord. Yeah, that's all we know.
Now, if it isn't the Revan that we know, then yeah, I mean, Revan solos all three of them. So I mean, as much as I love Vader, I mean, come on,
right?
Yeah, for me, you know, I would say I honestly, Mace Windu in his prime, I would say. And when I thought of my answers, I didn't really think of them in an order. But Mace Windu in his prime, I guess, against Vader. I wanted to have somebody who could have air advantage. So maybe Jango or Boba Fett, anyone with a jetpack, or maybe even Mando. Yeah, because I wanted some air advantage with two saber users. And, you know, because I know, depending on what version of Cad Bane we're talking about, he does have kind of like the little jet boot things too, but anyway. And then I was gonna say, because I didn't think about this too hard, honestly, but I was gonna say I also wanted someone quick as well, but like a saber user. So I was thinking either Asajj Ventress or Ahsoka. You know, like an older Ahsoka, more experienced and stuff, like we see in Rebels or something like that. So, like I said, either Asajj Ventress or Ahsoka. So kind of throwing a lot of wild answers out there, but what do you think on your three?
So I guess mine are kind of like practical answers, I guess.
Yeah.
So for me, and I'm kind of like pairing them up because that's just what I thought when I read it. So it would be Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader because Obi-Wan.
Well, so here's the thing. That's why I didn't say this, because one of two things, depending on where we're at here. So, Kenobi, has like moral implications here that he's like seeing his brother Josh, which I say that, but he did kind of wreck him on Mustafar in episode 3. But here's the thing, and this is just my humble opinion, but I do think that Vader, and I guess we're going to obviously see this in the upcoming show, but Vader is stronger and more experienced than Anakin, but I would say Anakin is maybe slightly stronger in the Force at that time. That's a whole nother conversation. But I just felt like it would be a little close with Kenobi versus Vader. But anyway.
So you think Mace Windu it would have better chance against Darth Vader than Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Well, my main thought was he doesn't have the moral implication. In fact, he even has the revenge part of it. He wants to have revenge. B, I know that he has, he bridges the dark side and light side, so maybe he doesn't necessarily have the moral implication of taking out Vader as much either, because we did see where he's just going to kill Palpatine, A, or B. C, we do know that technically, according to our canonical lore of the saga, that he was supposed to be one of the best blade masters in the Jedi Order. We do know that Kenobi was master of Form 3 Ceresu, which is the defensive form, but we do know that, I mean, from what we've heard at least, and again, it may not even be canon anymore, but for a long time we had the understanding that Mace was the one of the best saber fighters in general. So I don't know. I mean, I'm saying with the moral implications to the side, with the power of revenge at his side, while also bridging the light and dark, I think that gives him a distinct advantage. Now, I'm not saying that he's a better fighter, but I'm saying that at least in that part, it gives him an advantage.
Yeah. I don't know. I still personally, I still think Kenobi makes the most sense to me because Kenobi knows Anakin better than anyone, and he knows he knows his thoughts. He knows what he's gonna do before he does it better than anyone.
And another rebuttal I would give to that though is that Vader is different than Anakin though. And he's more I feel like he has more experience, but he's not as rash.
But it depends, I guess, when we're talking about.
True. Yeah. Which this is opening up
it's opening the whole thing, because is this early Vader or is this like
mid Vader or late Vader?
Vader? Because early Vader, mid Vader, and late Vader are three very different Vaders.
When I think of all these characters though, I'm thinking of all of them in their primes. And prime Vader would be mid Vader. So, I mean, but again, I didn't explicitly say that, so it's hard to say. So let's just move on.
That's it's a tough one. With Vader, it's tough all around. I think because I could even argue maybe someone I think would be interesting against Vader would be Yoda, because well, number one, we never get a battle between Vader and Yoda.
No, we do not
of any kind, and I think the reason for that is I think Yoda may actually win.
Yeah, well, and again, so Vader is inherently strong, but he is slower though too. And Yoda, again, is like insane. I can't remember what form 2, but basically it's like the super offensive forward where he's like flipping around doing flips. I mean, he's super fast, so he has that advantage. And you're like, okay, well, what about Vader's force advantage? Well, Yoda, I mean, he has a greater force advantage than most people. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it very well could be that Yoda could take him.
But yeah. So moving on, for Cad Bane, I would do Emperor. Or no, sorry, not Emperor.
Whoa! You're going straight Palpatine, bro. What?
No, I would do Count Dooku as who I was going to say.
You know what's funny? I was going to say Count Dooku as well, but I kind of changed my answers.
And the reason I did Count Dooku, and also the reason I accidentally said Emperor Palpatine, is because of Force Lightning. Because I could see Cad Bane coming, and all of a sudden Dooku just takes him out, right? Because I'm just thinking like, what would be the quickest, easy, most efficient way to do it? Yeah, that would be it. Is like somebody with Force Lightning,
or just do Palpatine. Just to fry him. It's it's already over. I mean.
Or Palpatine, but my head canon I had going on here was that Palpatine would never take the time to even fight someone like Cad Bane. So, but then for who was the last one? Kylo. For Kylo, I do have to say, for Kylo it would be Luke Skywalker, and the reason is because Kylo gets so mad and so blinded in rage when he sees Luke Skywalker that he can barely function and can't hardly even fight. Like, I mean, as we see in The Last Jedi when Luke is like dodging everything. And he's just like so blinded by rage. I think Luke could easily take him out if he had to. And so, that would be my pick. For Kylo.
That was kind of my thinking as well. I mean, obviously, I think Luke could do it, but again, the same reason with me with Obi-Wan and Vader is like there's these more implications of like would they actually?
Yeah, but are we killing them? Is that what? I don't see. I never took it as we're killing them.
I mean, what are they gonna do?
I mean, what's your thing say? Can read it.
I said, as you turn around and see Vader preparing for attack, what 3 characters will you choose to fight them?
Yeah. So nothing says you have to kill them. I mean, Jedi aren't even supposed to kill necessarily unless they just really have to.
Yeah, I think we're getting too deep in the weeds on this because it's like there's just,
we're getting so deep into it.
You just forget.
Well, I mean, but you're saying, but I mean, I have to say, you're the one that's what come with rebuttals to my.
Well, I know. I said we are getting too deep into this. I'm not saying y'all are getting too deep in this. Let's just move on.
I mean, but it's an interesting concept.
Yeah. I think if we were really going to go so deep in the weeds and actually get a legit answer, I would have had to define more.
You would have to have some
and details about the characters and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well,
Amen.
and that's where you get into some of these like role-playing games and stuff where they do actually like
Yeah.
start to really kind of go over all the details. And then there's also like the that Star Wars card game that we've played before. What's it called?
I can't remember.
Star Wars Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like that game.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So is that all you had there?
Yeah,
in the
that was our
comments?
last stuff, yeah.
I'm going to title this episode "We're sorry for this episode."
We're so sorry. Don't listen. Listener beware.
Oh man, I know like this. Rarely do I feel like I should apologize for our podcast, but this is one of those times where it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry we recorded this episode.
We're so sorry that we actually are going to go through and post this.
We're so sorry. We're just wasting your precious time. I will say we had some good news stories though,
Yeah.
and specifically some good news and rumors. Fell apart after that, but anyway, but there's a lot of exciting Star Wars stuff coming up, and so we hope that this episode will not deter you away from our podcast. Please stick around.
We've had better episodes than this. You can go back and listen.
You can go and listen to them, and there's better episodes to come because again, as the content continues as we get more content, we'll have better things to say.
When it's just us, it's off the rails.
But we want to thank you guys so much for listening. If you made it this far, you are a true Jedi Eternal fan.
Yes.
If you made it this far, type 111 into the comments, and we'll know. We will know. But anyway, we appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget about our Patreon. You can go there for $5 a month and become a Patreon producer, where you will get instant access to our Jedi Eternal episodes. You'll get exclusive access to our newest and latest episodes of And Other Stuff, where we talk about everything that is not Star Wars.
Yes.
And you also get our Let's Plays on there as well. Where you can also find our Let's Plays on YouTube. We just posted last week our adventure back into Knights of the Old Republic. Had been a while. We take a little bit of time trying to figure out what in the world
we have
were
no clue
doing.
what we're doing for a while.
But yeah, I think it's entertaining enough. And next week there'll be another episode of our KOTOR Let's Play. So make sure you check that out next Saturday. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Like it, share it. When this episode comes up on your Facebook, please share it. You don't understand how much that means to us, and that gets our name out there, and it does make a difference. Your share makes a difference, so we thank you for that. But until next time, may the Force be with you, and we thank you for joining the Jedi Eternal. We're sorry.